All right, good evening and welcome to this week's Traveling on Everyday Spend live stream. Although this isn't actually a live stream. I did the live stream earlier at the 7 p.m. time I normally do. Unfortunately, there was a problem with the recording and did not come out well at all. So I had to get rid of it. And so I still want to get you all that information through the live stream. So I'm doing a straight recording tonight. So hopefully it can still be able to provide you all the information that you all need. And when it comes to questions and comments and being able to do that on the live stream, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get that done. But if you have any questions or comments that you like answered, please put them in the comment section. I will make sure to stay alert on those questions and comments and get responses out to you relatively quickly. And I want to start by letting everyone know, thank you. Thank you for watching the live streams. Thank you for watching the videos and the shorts. It really does a lot. It means a lot. Your liking, your sharing, and your subscribing has really done a lot for the channel. And of course, I have to say, if you have not subscribed to the channel and you're getting good quality information that's benefiting you, please consider subscribing. It really does mean a lot to the channel. And I really appreciate the feedback and the comments and the questions that you all provide. I want this channel to be a really good source for each and every one of you. And that can only happen with your comments and feedback to make sure that I do my job and do it to the best of my ability to provide you what you're looking for to make your lives better. So let's go ahead and get started with this live stream / recording, and let's see where it takes us. 1 second here. All right, so as far as the points and miles report, as always, we start off with credit card offers, transfer bonuses, and then we move to the topics of the day. And so today we're looking at the California bill that looks like it's trying to kill clear. We're going to talk about the Southwest Rapid Rewards cash and points, the Blade Bilt partnership, the May Bilt Rent Day that we've gotten information on now, and then also Hyatt for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, because we found out some information on that that's really information you need to know if you are a person that likes Hyatt, and especially if you are or were considering the Mr. and Mrs. Smith program, the acquisition that they did. So I want to once again value you and your time. So let's go and get started. As far as topic one with the credit card offers, not much new, just a couple of things of note. It's really because we're really at the end of a couple of these. So the Marriott credit cards, May 1st, last chance. If there are any of the Amex cards that for Marriott that you are interested in, you're going to have to look at pulling the trigger on it pretty soon if you really want to do it. You don't want to, that's going to be May 1st. Don't wait till the last moment. I did a live stream that did a deep dive on the Marriott Bonvoy program because back at that time, the American Express cards was doing this special promotion as well as Chase. So that was from the March 7th live stream. I'll put a link in the pinned comment to give you easy access to be able to view that. And it's by chapters. As I do all my live streams and today's recording, I'll make sure to put chapters to make it easier for you to be able to get to the information that you're looking for. And then for American Express Platinum and Gold, it's just really a reminder that if you're looking for the best numbers for you, always make sure to check in the incognito mode, especially if you're new to American Express. Because I normally am seeing outsized value and outsized points for the intro bonuses. So just something to consider. And then we've talked about the Aer Lingus, British Airways, and Iberia credit card promotion that they're doing with Chase. Well, we're now seeing that it says the offer is ending soon. So if you have an interest in that, definitely look at that. And this is a case where you're getting 5 Avios per dollar spent on some of the more traditional spending of groceries and a few other items. I also talked about this I think last week's live stream. I'll make sure to put a link for that as well, to be able to provide you more information, as we did cover some of the differences between those three cards, to hopefully, if you're interested in how to decide what might be best for you. And then lastly, we've talked about Citi. The custom cash card with the special travel offer is still listed, as well as the Citi Advantage Platinum card. But no other credit card offers that we've got ending or that we really need to keep on right now. So let's move on to the April transfer bonuses. Now, as far as April transfer bonuses, we've got Virgin Atlantic Flight Club with American Express at 30%. That will run through May 31st of 2024. Now, when it comes to these transfer bonuses, we're not really seeing through the regular traditional American Express, Citi, Chase, and Capital One. We're not seeing anything crazy with these transfer bonuses. So if you have a designated trip that you're going to do a redemption on, and in this case, if you're going to use Virgin points and you know you've got a redemption to do, then it's perfectly fine to take advantage of this 30% redemption. But it's not historic in any way, and we've seen it before. So we don't do, I'd never look for doing speculative transfers of a transfer bonus that is seemingly pretty regular. So only if it applies for a specific issue, for a topic for you, would I recommend doing it. We always want to keep our points as flexible points, which are thank you points from Citi, membership rewards from American Express, Capital One miles from Capital One, and then of course, ultimate rewards from Chase. We want to keep those in there because as long as we keep them flexible, we have many options to be able to do. Virgin Red that we've got Capital One ends on April 30th at 30%. And as I mentioned on here, Virgin Red, Virgin Atlantic, different names, but they can be intermingled, and so they're not necessarily separate, that your Virgin Red points cannot be added with your Virgin Atlantic flying club. So don't view them as necessarily separate. And then lastly, the Accor Live Live Limitless, rather, that is a 50% promotion through May 11th. We talked about a lot about Accor in last week's live stream, and so I'll make sure to put a link for that live stream there. Went into some information because they have a very small footprint here in North America, so want to be able to get you that information to see if that may be of any benefit for you in any different type of case. So that is the April transfer bonuses. Topic 3 is on this California bill that is moving through the California legislative branch. And basically what the proposal is that it would basically prohibit airports from allowing third-party companies to give travelers expedited access to the existing TSA lines. Now, it doesn't mention Clear in the language, and the writer of the bill says it's not specific to Clear, it's specific to Clear. There's no one else that does that program other than Clear. So that's just my opinion. So, and so basically what this would require a Clear or any third party that is currently doing this is you would have to basically remove yourself from that main line for the TSA. So you're not going to be able to, they wouldn't let you walk a Clear member up past other people within the TSA line. Clear would technically have to create a brand new space, which means they got to acquire space from the airport to be able to set up their own area, their own TSA line, and handle the personnel to do a TSA line. Obviously, if this bill would pass, Clear would not even be involved in the state of California. It wouldn't be worth they would lose money in regards to it. So it's definitely something that would be damaging for Clear. Now, when you talk about, well, who's saying what about it? So I saw that the local TSA union there in California, as well as the Association of Flight Attendants, both supported this legislation. Now, the language that came out from the AFA was that it would restore equal access and treatment at the airport security checkpoint. And they mentioned something about irregularities in clear passenger verification. So I don't, for myself personally, I don't really give a lot of weight to the argument that of irregularities. If there was significant irregularities with passenger verification, I think something would have been talked about and done with Clear earlier, and that really doesn't have anything to do with the issue of expediting Clear members or any third party member past other people in a TSA line. So let's just deal with that. Um, the reality is, I've been on both sides. I've been the person that has been in a TSA line and seen Clear people, Clear members get walked ahead, and I've been a Clear member that has walked past people. I'm not, when it comes to the feeling that you have, when, at least for me, I'd be interested to see what your comments are both ways. If you're a Clear member and when you've not been a Clear member or are not a Clear member, what your feeling is of when that happens. I can understand there could be frustration, maybe even some people being upset about it. It would be natural. I don't know if this legislation necessarily does a whole lot to address it. Um, it's all things are just not fair, unfortunately. And so, like I said, be interested in your thoughts and comments on it. But the opposition is coming from Alaska, Delta, Hawaiian Airlines, JetBlue, Southwest, and United. I believe they did a joint letter to the legislators for California, voicing their thoughts against this. Now, it should be noted that Alaska, Delta, United are strategic partners of Clear. Other opposition came from the California Travel Association, the California Airports Council, as well as several state and local chambers of commerce. Now, Clear is not commenting on this legislation, but they did point out that they share about $13 million last year and annually with the California airport partners. So there is money that the airports are getting. And so it's something to kind of keep an eye on. We don't necessarily know when the real votes are going to happen, but it will be very contentious. So something to kind of keep an eye on. So topic 4 is on the Southwest Rapid Rewards program, and they have now introduced paying with a combination of cash and points. Previous to this, if you were doing points, you had to make sure you had all the necessary points to make the purchase. Now, this started on April 22nd of this year, and it's going to be only partially rolled out basically to a portion of members in the first 10 days. Then it will go all member wide. As I've talked about now, when we talk about is it worth it, options are always good. We want as many options as possible for us to have the ability to make the best decision for each of our own situation. But the value of the points when using cash and points versus when you're just redeeming points, there seems to be a pretty significant difference. When you're redeeming points only, it looks like there's a value of about 1.1 cents per point. Versus if you're using the combination of the cash and points, you're seeing value. You may see values as low as 0.6 cents. That's pretty significant. So it's something that you need to consider for your own personal situation. And then lastly, when you're doing cash and points, it appears that rapid reward points and qualifying points towards A-list preferred, or companion pass when booking under this program, you don't earn qualifying points. That's you don't earn it not just on the cash portion, you don't earn it on the points portion. So you don't get any ratio or percentage of what you're doing to go towards that. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, Southwest Airline Rapid Rewards points don't expire. So you may want to look at planning ahead or being able, with whether you're using your Southwest credit card to earn points and how you use those points, or if you're going to use potentially Chase points and convert them. But it may, I think this may be a situation where it may not be the best choice for most people most times, but at least it's still there. So I have to give credit that it does exist. The next item is Blade and Bilt. They've got a partnership, and Blade is basically well known for providing helicopter flights from Manhattan to the airports at JFK as well as Newark. And they can do that flight, I believe, in about 5 minutes. So it provides a lot of benefit to busy people. And so with normally busy executives and business people, but this Bilt partnership is really going to kind of open up that window to more people that have Bilt, as it might be a very good use for people in regards to this. So what you're looking at is you're going to get 2x bonus points, 2 times bonus Bilt points on top of whatever other points you're accumulating if you're doing a purchase with Blade through the app normally. There's a 10% discount on the flights for gold, silver, and platinum members when booking through the Bilt app. Now, as far as thoughts, once again, Bilt is really trying to do their best to distinguish themselves and really kind of provide experiences and to provide a lot of different opportunities with your points that you get in earning and as well as redeeming the points. One important item is you don't have to use your Bilt credit card for this. You just go through the Bilt Rewards app, but you don't have to use your Bilt Rewards card. So if you've got a travel credit card that is going to give you more points for this, this is a great use to be able to get Bilt points as well as points on the credit card of your choice. So definitely something to consider. And if you're platinum, you're going to be able to get a complimentary flight once each year from in this case, the New York City Lounge to the Newark or JFK airport. Now, they do have flights going from Nice airport to Monaco in Europe, and that one is just a 7-minute flight. And once that comes on, it's supposed to come on in the summer, then you would be able to use your complimentary flight there as well. And the other last thing that I kind of skipped over actually is that you're able to utilize the Blade Lounge even if you're not flying Blade that day, which is very interesting. So if you want to go to their lounge, you can. They do limit you on the drinks, of course, at two beverages for when you're not flying. And it's not likely of some place you're going to go to for the sake of going there, because we're talking about the lounge is not necessarily, it's located there in New York City, and but it's not probably someplace you'll go to, but it's there and it's an option. So that's very interesting. And we'll just have to kind of see if that window continues over the long haul to be able to use. But obviously, for most people, this is a New York specific thing for now, and the Nice one will start in the summer. I'm not going to probably be able to have an opportunity to use it anytime in the near future, but I like the fact that we're getting another benefit of Bilt, and it's not at any additional cost to us. So kudos to Bilt for continuing to try to build a redemption and reward program that is truly unique. Now, as far as topic 6, we've got Bilt Rent Day coming up for May 1, fast approaching. And just wanted to kind of touch on a few of their Rent Day activities / promotions they're doing. So anytime between April 25th, today, and May 1st, if you're going to use your Bilt points to be redeemed towards rent, you can get 100% of those points to come back to you to be used specifically towards the Bilt Home Collection. You have to use either a minimum of 1,000 points to a max of 50,000 points. So if it was something that you're interested in, there is something there for you. But definitely keep in mind, as I note there, that when you're redeeming the points for rent, it's only going to be valued at about 0.55 cents per point, which is a very low number. But we all have our own situations that we have to deal with. So if you need to be able to use the points for the rent for whatever situation, there may be some benefit of some fringe benefit if you are in that situation that you're choosing to use points. But it's definitely not a good redemption. But I wanted to provide you that information anyway. Bilt Rent Day dining experience. So they are going to be having wine tastings, chef tastings, in experiences with other Bilt members. And it's going to be in Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, LA, Miami, New York City, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. These bookings, this is for Rent Day on the 1st. Now, the bookings will start tomorrow, April 26th, and it starts at noon in 10-minute increments based upon each tier level of Bilt. So at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's the Platinum opening. At 12:10, it's Gold. 12:20, it's Silver. And 12:30, it's Blue. Now, the cost is $150 or 15,000 Bilt points. So if you live in one of those towns, they will have the specific locations when the window opens tomorrow on the 26th at 12 p.m. We don't necessarily know those yet, but it's going to be in those cities. And then we have Bilt Rent Day Trivia. So they have a trivia game. It's 5 questions, and they progressively go up in points, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. If you answer, and they progressively get harder as you go through it. If you answer all 5 questions properly, then you will get a 6th question asked of you, and that one will be 100 points. So if you answer all 6 trivia questions, you've earned yourself 250 Bilt points. It's looks like to be a fun game. I will probably try it once I get done with this recording. But 250 points is still 250 points if you can do it. And if you're really good at trivia, make sure to let me know in the comments how you may do with this. And then we have the Rent Day Soul Cycle ride. So 45-minute ride with reservations starting April 27th at noon. And one promotion that they're doing is Bilt will offer one rider up to $2,500 towards their rent. Random selection. So if you are a person that's into Soul Cycle and want to do that ride, maybe you might be that person that gets that $2,500. And then lastly, the rent-free game. This started at noon today. I've not had a chance to do it. Once again, I'll do that after the recording. But you must play by May 1st at 3 p.m. It's a Family Feud type of game to be in the top 3 answers, and you accumulate points. And then you'll go back to the app after 4 p.m. on May 1st to see how a person did. It's a YouTuber, but I forget the person's name that's doing it. And if you are in so much ranked at a certain level, then then you end up winning. So just different things that Bilt tries to do to keep people engaged and make a few points here and there, but definitely something to consider. Now, one of the things, unfortunately, I did not mention is I did not talk about any transfer bonuses. This is the second month in a row that we've not seen the great transfer bonuses that we saw for about 3 or 4 months. 1 month, hopefully, is just an aberration, and 2 months is not a pattern. I think that they may be kind of resetting themselves. You've got Alaska Airlines coming on. American's going to be leaving shortly. So hopefully we can get back to seeing, even if it's not every month, seeing those crazy type of redemptions of 75% and higher. And that's what I talk about when we talk about the 30% for the Virgin Red or the Virgin Flying Club. when Bilt's doing this, they are completely setting a whole new standard. So hopefully we'll be able to get a chance to see that continue when we get into June. And then topic 7 is going to be about Hyatt and Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So Hyatt ended up acquiring Mr. and Mrs. Smith in April of 2023. And for those that aren't aware of the Mr. and Mrs. Smith brand, it is a collection, a curated collection of boutique hotels and luxury hotels around the world. There's over 1,500 of them. And now Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that brand, does not own and it does not manage the hotels. It essentially is a marketer of the hotels. Similar to the small luxury hotel and resort, small luxury hotel program that Hyatt previously had a partnership with, but that dissolved, and now they're with Hilton right now. And obviously because Hyatt is investing its money into this new ownership of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So Frequent Miler, credit to them, had a article in a discussion with Hyatt about this, the implementing and getting started with the program. And so a couple of things of note: there'll be over 700 of these properties will be available now or very soon for you to be able to book with Hyatt points. All rooms and all room types are expected to be available and bookable by points. Right now, you really only see base rooms, but supposedly it's going to expand to all of them. Now, of course, if that's happening, you can only imagine what's happening next. Is that there is no award chart for Hyatt with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, so it's going to be dynamic pricing. And if you probably ever heard me talk about dynamic pricing, and the explanation is that when we're talking about IHG, Marriott, Hilton, the amount of points you have to pay to redeem changes as the dollar amounts change every day. And so there's nothing you can kind of hang your hat on. One of the things that has been great about Hyatt is that we do know what a ceiling is that we're going to need to pay. And so we have an off-peak amount, we have a regular redemption amount, and then we have a peak amount. And then we don't go over the peak amount. We don't have to expect that. So a perfect example that I've gone through for myself is the Park Hyatt in Sydney, Australia. The redemption rate during peak rate is 45,000 points. So I'm going to go there for Christmas and New Year's. And if you were and that's peak time, but December 6th is peak time as well. Well, the cost of the room for that is going to get you, I think it's around somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000. I think it's around $1,000 a night for that. But during that New Year's Eve, Christmas time frame, the point value that is in regards to it, it's about 9 cents per point during that time. So we get the benefit when it normally comes to Hyatt, where we know what our cap of our expense is, but in some cases we're going to get outsized value based upon the fact that they don't adjust their pricing anymore beyond that peak price. With Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we're not going to have that benefit. So it's going to be just like every other hotel that's going to go on. The other part is, at least to the good, is that resort fees when paying with points will be waived. And then a couple of other last negatives is using the World of Hyatt credit card in regards to paying for a Mr. and Mrs. Smith property. You will not get the four extra points per dollar that normally comes with a Hyatt purchase, which is unfortunate. And then lastly, what we saw with the small luxury hotel collection when Hyatt had it was that we saw that you had a free breakfast and a complimentary upgrade when available. Those things are not going to be automatically available or promised, quote unquote, to you with the Mr. and Mrs. Smith program. So we do lose out on that as well. So as far as my thoughts, the dynamic pricing did not surprise me. It was unfortunate, but it didn't surprise me, and mainly because of the fact that the Mr. and Miss Smith brand, at least for the hotels under their umbrella, is a very wide-ranging amount of pricing, anywhere from the mid to high hundreds into the thousands per night, to a hotel room I saw that was $20,000 a night. To expect that Hyatt was going to put an award chart for that was not going to be realistic. Either one of two or three things had to happen. Either one, you were not going to make all of the Mr. and Mrs. Smith hotels available via points, and then you could have a condensed award pricing similar to what we see now. Or two, you basically had to make it all available, but now you went to dynamic pricing because you can't have there was not likely to have an award chart with that kind of wide expanded type of dollar from mid hundreds to 20,000. It was just not going to be realistic. Obviously, does this open the door for Hyatt to go to dynamic pricing? So Frequent Miler did ask their representative, and they said there was no plan to go that route. And probably we won't see anything change anytime in the near future. I think Hyatt has done a good job as far as managing its numbers by the quote unquote devaluation we get each year, where they up the numbers that it's going to take to get in to use your points in their most popular hotels. And then they can obviously restrict the number of rooms that are going to be available for points. So hopefully we'll just see them continue to do that, but allow us to keep these great charts that we have. But anything can happen in the future. We've seen this so much where it's a follow the leader type of thing, whether it is the baggage prices that we saw with the airlines, where one charged more, then more and more people charged more. Into the good, we may be seeing it with the Clear increase. We saw Citi go adjust its number to cover that difference, and now we see Chase. So Hyatt is kind of a rare breed where they are kind of an outlier, and they're not trying to become part of the pack, at least as of yet. And that's one of the reasons why I love being able to use points for Hyatt, because of that value. So something to kind of keep in mind. And so this investment in Mr. and Mrs. Smith allowed them to just kind of give up on the small luxury hotels. And so obviously Hilton picked that up. And so we'll just have to kind of see as we get more information on this. There are some amazing hotels, at least just from what I got from Hyatt as a notification as a card holder. But I don't think that I will utilize my Hyatt points to be able to make that happen. Maybe if it's some kind of bucket list type of thing. So I think that's what we've got for tonight. I'll have a video, a long form video up on Saturday that I hope you'll like. It will be going over what I believe are the 6 best credit cards of 2024 to put together to have a really good chance of being successful of points and miles. And I will put the links that I talked about for the live stream, and break this down into chapters and get it out a little bit later this evening. And definitely, once again, please provide any comments or questions that you may have. And I apologize of the live stream kind of failing. Do better next time. But I want to make sure to be able to answer any questions that you may have. And thank you so much for your support. And once again, consider liking and subscribing. You have a great evening. Bye-bye.